a forum for all citizens to discuss the country's future and to prepare for a possible constituent process. This was presented by the Catalan government today, but it could end up in court. Hello, and welcome to Catalan News. An advisory body for a constituent debate was launched today. It will be chaired by the iconic singer-songwriter Lluís Llach, who aims to bring society together to reflect on the future. But he's unlikely to get unionist parties engaged, as we'll tell you in a minute. And the story of a tiny abandoned village, which might come back to life, will also feature on our show today. The debate on how independence will be implemented continues among those backing a Catalan state. This on the week marking a year since the Declaration of Independence. So far, the government has announced a tool which aims to be the first step towards a hypothetical Catalan constitution.
With former President Puigdemont and other pro-independence leaders abroad, Catalan politics have become used to a singular phenomenon. Every once in a while, the biggest political story of the day in Catalonia takes place far off, in a different European country. That was the case today. President Quim Torra travelled to Waterloo in Belgium to meet his predecessor along with other top politicians, including leaders of Esquerra. The precise aim of the meeting was unclear until they addressed the press and made an announcement.
Avui hem explicat el Consell per la República, que és un dels acords a què vam arribar amb el pacte d'investidura i que amb el conseller Comín hem anat treballant.
Hem de ser conscients que aquí el que hi ha és un acord d'investidura que parla del Consell per la República però que mereixia ser interpretat, concretat i desenvolupat abans de ser posat en marxa.
It's been more than 7 months since the Council of the Republic was first announced by Puigdemont. When Spanish courts blocked his attempts to reclaim the presidency from abroad, he stepped aside and appointed a successor. Yet he also announced the creation of a private body to make the case for Catalan independence from abroad. To be officially launched on Tuesday next week in Barcelona, the council will include members of major pro-independence parties and organisations, with one notable exception.
Tu trenques efectivament amb l'Estat, inicies un procés d'autodeterminació, etc. Aleshores sí que poden tenir utilitat accions a l'exterior d'aquesta tipologia o d'una altra, però mentrestant això és marejar la perdiu, diguéssim, és desviar l'atenció.
Yet President Torra pledged to do everything he can to achieve unity.
Jo tindré tots els contactes que pugui i per convèncer els amics de la CUP de que hi siguin el dia 30.
But setting the Council of the Republic aside, Puigdemont continues to play an indisputably key role in Catalan politics. This is why the leader of Podemos in Spain, Pablo Iglesias, called the president on Sunday. This came only a few days after he visited the former vice president in prison to talk about the budget. For the moment, support from pro-independence parties is far from assured. But for the socialists, the issue at stake is simple.
I que si no es sap governar aquí a Catalunya o no es vol governar aquí a Catalunya i tenen el govern paralitzat i tenen el Parlament paralitzat, que no impedeixin que el govern socialista a Madrid pugui beneficiar amb uns pressupostos que passen pàgina a l'austeritat al conjunt de la ciutadania.
As negotiations are set to continue in the coming weeks, the situation of Catalan leaders abroad and in prison will continue to be central to the negotiations.
Also in Madrid, as well as in Catalonia, there was controversy over comments made by a Spanish police official, including insults against Catalan pro-independence and Spanish left-wing politicians. Using a secret Twitter account, the officer insulted politicians such as Esquerra Republicana Party MP Gabriel Rufián. He called him, quote, stupid, and said he hoped he would get charged by a bull. He also called the mayor of Barcelona, quote, functionally illiterate and disgusting. After the tweets emerged, he stepped down. The Spanish Home Affairs Minister suggested he would have sacked him if he hadn't resigned. One of the biggest stories worldwide recently is the death of a Saudi journalist at the Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul, Turkey. Some European countries, such as Germany, are reconsidering or even stopping weapon exports to this Arabian kingdom. In Spain, the Catalan pro-independence parties and left-wing Podemos have asked the government in Madrid to do the same. But the ruling socialists, supported by the People's Party, rejected it in Congress until a thorough investigation on the issue is completed. The rating agency Moodys has improved Catalonia's ratings outlook. The reason? For them, the impact of the Declaration of Independence was limited to the economy. Moodys is on the same page as the Financial Times is. The British newspaper claims that the worst economic fears on the independence push last year were not confirmed. This on the day we learned that Catalan exports continue to grow in August, this time by 2.6%, making a 3% growth in the first 8 months of the year. The chemical sector is leading sales abroad once more. And still on business news, Catalan pharma company Reconnected announced a remarkable investment in the country. The firm is planning to spend 30 million euros in its headquarters in Sant Joan d'Espí in the Barcelona area. It also opened a new production line in Toledo, close to Madrid, with the aim of expanding into Asia and the US.
Amb un compromís molt fort pels productes injectables, dins dels injectables diverses tecnologies molt específiques per poder produir medicaments en l'àmbit dels productes biològics, dels biosimilars, productes d'origen químic, productes per tot el món.
For fans of 2001: A Space Odyssey or A Clockwork Orange, a new exhibit in Barcelona takes you inside Kubrick's world. A large international show on Stanley Kubrick opens tomorrow at Barcelona's Center of Contemporary Culture. With rooms dedicated to some 12 of his films, including The Shining and Full Metal Jacket, the exhibit shows some 600 items, such as moving images, objects, and material coming from his archive. Anyone can enjoy the filmmaker's genius with this event until March 31st, 2019. There's much more to Catalonia than Barcelona. Towns and villages of different sizes are scattered across the country from north to south, from seaside to mountains. And there, in the Pyrenees, some of the most isolated ones struggle to survive the passing of time.
There are villages where no light shines through the windows, no smoke comes from the chimneys, and no voices are heard in the streets. These are the ghost towns of Catalonia, abandoned decades ago and now isolated and inaccessible. But one, called Arreu, is about to be reconnected to civilization. To be reachable by car in just weeks, the very first road to Arreu should cost just over 80,000 euros. It will serve to help restore the houses since they were definitively abandoned in the 80s, a long-term project by the homeowners. And yes, there are still owners, 4 to be exact. Alicia was born in the town but left in her mid-teens, and she remembers her childhood in such a remote village as if it were yesterday.
O sigui, tinc un record que el meu pare es va posar malalt i el van baixar sentat en una cadira. Nosaltres érem molt petitetes. I aquell record et queda.
In the very northwest of the country, at the feet of the Pyrenees, this is actually the second iteration of Arreu, the first destroyed by an avalanche in the 19th century with scores of inhabitants killed. And the nearly 20 town buildings are being restored just in time, say officials. There will even be improved water and electricity, which before was not enough to live by. Life in Arreu was once hard. Anything that wasn't grown or made came from outside and had to be carried back. But it was still nice, remembers Alicia, because you were with family. And who knows, with a new road and more, inhabitants may even come back.
We've come to the end of our show. And before we go, we leave you with footage of a different kind of heritage from Catalonia, one of the country's most famous surrealist artists, Salvador Dalí. A show featuring him is now on in Sevilla, and it focuses on when and how he included science into his art. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.